In this video, I wanted to go over three, I think, most useful methods that you are going to encounter when writing tests in React Native, and those are waitFor, within, and act. And let's start first by explaining what each of them does and then going over the example. So here, waitFor waits for a period of time for the expectation callback to pass. So here we have this callback, and it may run the callback a number of times until the timeout is reached, which we can also specify by the timeout and interval options, and it will run for a few times depending on what options you specified. And since waitFor is likely to run expectation callback multiple times, it is highly recommended for it to not perform any side effects. And waitFor, for example, here we can do fire event dot press submit button, and this will what this will do, it will press button every time we enter this execution context, and because of that it will take some time for the submit logic to proceed, and the button will not make it to be enabled, cannot be enabled because it does not have enough time to become enabled, and this is the side effect we want to avoid. Then it's also recommended to have a single assertion pair each waitFor for consistency and for faster failing tests, which means if you want to make several assertions, you want to do them in separate waitFor calls. So here, if you want to do something when the button becomes enabled, you want to put it in the separate waitFor, okay? So here in this example, we are firing event, changing the text, and then we are waiting for the button to become enabled, since now username and password inputs are not empty, okay? Then we are going to within. Within performs queries scoped to the given element. So here we are getting this, we are pressing the error container. We are finding the by test ID error container because we pressed the button, some error occurred, and then within that error container, so we are entering, and we have structure like this, okay? App, inside of that we'll have error container, and now, and let's have text here, some text, and now we are going within error container. So now the query we are going with, we are looking for inside of the error container. So if there was some text like this, if we did it like get by text from the login screen, this is what it would return. But since we are within error container, now we are looking inside of that, and this is what it will return. So yeah, that is why we are within, we are scoped to this element, and we are searching inside of that, okay? Then act, pretty useful component, and it's just a function to help testing components that use hooks. So by default, any render, update, fire event, and waitFor calls are wrapped by this function. So there is no need to wrap it manually, but I just wanted to show you how it works. So here, what it does behind the scenes is we are firing event, changing the text, and hooks API is triggered because if you remember, for example, username and set username, and we have the input, text input, and here we have value is equal to username, and then we have on change text is equal to set username, okay? And then we are typing inside of that input, change the text, and this is use state hook. It gets triggered, and now that is wrapped inside the act, so we are sure it works as expected, okay? Yeah, that's it for the waitFor within and act. I just wanted to make sure you guys understand how it works under the hood. and these are pretty useful when dealing with everyday stuff like authentication, navigation, and waiting for something to happen, or just going inside some component, uh, limiting the scope for that specific component. Okay.